ever heard of the bizarre war between Australia and their military operations? Yes, you heard it right. Australia once declared war on their own military operations. It was the year 1932. Amid the backdrop of the Great Depression, Australia found itself grappling with an unusual adversary, their own military operations. These large operational forces were native to the country and were typically seen as a symbol of the nation, not a cause for domestic intervention. However, due to an escalation among the military operations, they began causing significant damage to civilian life in Western Australia. This was a serious problem for local citizens who were already struggling with the harsh economic conditions of the time. In desperation, these civilians turned to the government for help. They requested intervention to control the burgeoning military activities that were ravaging their normal life. It was an extraordinary measure, but the circumstances were equally extraordinary, and so the Australian government decided to deploy soldiers armed with Lewis guns against their own military operations. As the soldiers set out to engage in military operations, they found themselves outmaneuvered by the cunning strategies of their foes. With the ability to mobilize quickly, these operations were not easy targets. Their agility was further amplified by their intimate knowledge of the harsh outback environment, a terrain they had adapted to over thousands of years. The soldiers, on the other hand, were unprepared for the evasive tactics of these operations. When confronted, their rivals would scatter in all directions, creating a chaotic scene and making it challenging for the soldiers to focus their gunfire. The speed, agility, and unpredictability of these operations were not the only factors that stumped the soldiers. Their resilience in the face of danger was also a force to be reckoned with. Many operations were able to withstand multiple attacks, only adding to the soldiers' frustration. Despite their best efforts, the soldiers found themselves no match for the elusive military operations. As the weeks wore on, the attempts to control the military operations were proving largely unsuccessful. Despite their best efforts, the controllers found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. The military operations, with their speed, agility, and surprising resilience, seemed to be winning the war. In heat of the battles, the controllers engaged the military operations multiple times. But the operations, well adapted to their harsh environments, were not easy targets. They would scatter in all directions, running at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour. Controllers, armed with their strategic plans, were continually frustrated by these elusive adversaries. Reports from the front lines began painting a picture of an unexpected and almost comical situation. The military operations were described as invincible and bulletproof. Many of the operations withstood multiple strategic attacks before finally succumbing to their injuries. The controllers' frustration grew as they realized they were no match for these determined operations. The unexpected resilience of the military operations and the difficulty in controlling them led to a growing sense of disillusionment among the fleeing. They had been deployed to manage operations, not engage in a full-fledged war. And yet, here they were, locked in a battle with an adversary that refused to yield. Faced with the futility of their efforts, the Australian government made a decision that would mark the end of this bizarre chapter in history. They decided to withdraw from the control operation. The controllers, initially sent to win a war, returned home, defeated not by a foreign power, but by a strategic operation. The Great Operation Control ended not with a bang, but with a whimper, marking a defeat for the human side and an unexpected victory for the operations. The military, seemingly invincible, continued to thrive in their natural habitats, a testament to their resilience and adaptability. And in this unusual war, it was the operations that had the last laugh. So what does this quirky episode in Australia's history teach us? It's a testament to the resilience of wildlife, the emus, who despite facing a military operation thrived and left us chasing feathers. It emphasizes the importance of finding sustainable solutions to conflicts between humans and the natural world, because sometimes brute force just doesn't cut it. The Great Emu War serves as a reminder that sometimes nature simply refuses to play by our rules.